Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, transforming the way people think and work so their organizations can thrive. Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and with me today is Bill Berman. Bill is a seasoned consultant with more than 30 years' experience as an executive coach, senior line manager, clinician, and academic. He has been assessing individuals since 1983, delivering organizational consulting and educational coaching since 1993, and consulted to executives and C-suite business leaders since returning to full-time consulting in 2004. Bill started his own software company in 1994 to track healthcare outcomes, which he grew and subsequently sold to the Echo Group, an enterprise healthcare information system company. Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, Bill Berman.
Thanks very much, Ed. Thanks for having me.
Well, first off, Bill, why do you do what you do?
Well, there's a 10-second answer, a 30-second answer, and an hour answer. I'll give you the slightly shorter one. Years ago, a friend of mine said to me, have you ever defined your purpose? And I said, no, I haven't done that. And he said, well, you should, and gave me a method for doing that. And I discovered that what the common theme that runs through everything I've done for the past 30 years is some version of helping other people. So I started life as a clinical psychologist. That's about helping other people. I spent 10 years as an academic teaching, and that was helping other people. And now the coaching that I do and the organizational consulting is also about helping other people. So it's really about helping other people achieve what it is they really are capable of achieving. So being their best self, being what they're capable of being. That's what I'm all about.
Well, before we started recording, you said something intriguing, which is that you had a list of some of the worst leadership suggestions. So take us through a couple of those.
So the worst leadership ideas they're not inherently bad ideas, but the way they've been rolled out and the way people use them are really, really bad. So the whole notion of do more with less, right? It's a terrible idea. You can't do more with less. You can only do less with less. So you can become more efficient. You can decide that there are things that aren't critical to do. But the real answer is, do the right things with less, not do more with less. So that's one bad idea. Stop failing fast. It's just the notion that people should be able to fail fast doesn't work unless you do a whole bunch of other things, like make sure people understand what the standards are, like make sure they have the resources to get it done, like understand what's tolerable failure and what's not tolerable failure. So there's, it's just, but people throw it out all the time. Oh, fail fast. And it's just a bad idea because people can't do it. Another one is one of the most common pieces of advice is just say no, and as a business person, you can't just say no. I can't look at my boss's boss who says to me, I need something by tomorrow and say, no, not if you want to keep your job. You have to find ways to say no without saying no. So you have to find ways to say, I'd love to help you out. Let's figure out a solution. Or I don't have the resources to get that done in the time frame you need it. So help me, if you have other resources, let's use those to get it to you sooner. Or I can't do it now, but I can do it for you in 2 weeks. Or I can do a rough draft of it by tomorrow, but I can't do a finished product by tomorrow. That'll take me another week. So all of these things, the basic idea, the intent behind the idea made perfect sense. But the way they've been rolled out is just, it doesn't work for most people. And it ends up giving people the exact opposite advice of what they should be doing.
Sure. You mentioned efficiency, and I've done a lot of thinking and speaking about efficiency versus effectiveness. And when you think about it, if you go to a brain surgeon, do you want an efficient surgeon or an effective one?
Absolutely.
It's clear you want an effective one.
Absolutely. Right? That's right.
And efficiency doesn't matter. You just want that to happen. And I think, react to the phrase, I think this is from Peter Drucker, there's nothing so wasteful as doing that which is ineffective efficiently.
It's absolutely right. Efficiency is a really good thing when you know what's effective. But if you don't know what actually produces the right result, then you're gonna then being more efficient about it is really pointless.
Yeah. So, well, actually, if you think about it, you're actually making the situation worse faster.
Absolutely, that's absolutely right. There's in my work, there's also there's a big difference between effectiveness and meaningfulness. So there are lots of coaches and advisors who feel very meaningful to you, who make an important connection, but that doesn't mean they're helping you get where you need to go. And the people I coach and the people who work with me, I make sure that they're actually effective and not just building great relationships.
Sure.
It's a critical part of any sort of helping relationship. You've got to be sure, whether it's your brain surgeon or your coach, you got to be sure that person actually can produce an effective result.
Sure. That meaningfulness, I think, is important. I actually try to keep it with the EFF words and talk about efficaciousness, right? Which means to the maximum possible benefit, which I think is incorporating some of the spirit of what you're saying in there.
Yep.
So, Bill, we have an exit question that we ask all of our guests, and that is, who is a hero of yours and why are they a hero?
So I have two heroes, one personal and one sort of more global. They're both women. My personal hero is my mother, who raised two kids as a single parent, went back to school, got a master's degree, started working in a much more senior job, and really moved up in the organization and raised two reasonably healthy kids. I didn't realize until I was much older how hard that really is. My sort of bigger level hero is Rosa Parks, because I can't imagine having the courage to sit on a bus by yourself and say, no, I'm not moving to the back of the bus. There are lots of places where you can be courageous because other people are around, but she was all by herself. And that level of courage and self-confidence, I can't imagine. And
lastly, Bill, how can somebody contact you?
Best way to get me is at www.bermanleadership.com. You can send me an email from there. You can buy my book there. You can understand my organization from there. So that's the best place to go. You can also find me on LinkedIn as Dr. Bill Berman, and on Twitter as Dr. Bill Berman.
All right. And what's the book title? And we'll put it in the show notes.
Influence and Impact. Discover and excel at what your organization needs from you the most.
All right. Bill Berman, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.
Thanks a lot, Ed. Good to be here.
Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.